Hey guys, welcome to Pages with Sidra. Today we are going to start episode 611 of I Have 90 Billion Licking Gold Coins. If you haven't watched the previous chapters, make sure to check them out on my channel. Now, without any delay, let's dive into the chapter. Chapter 1046, Jiang Miniying's Misfortune. Although KL Biotech had been shut down, there was still one huge problem. What about all the people who had already taken the super soldier serum? You couldn't just abandon them and hope for the best. Many of them held vast amounts of wealth and social power. If they spiraled out of control, the chaos could destabilize the entire world. Think about it. When a person knows they're going to die soon, who knows what desperate or dangerous things they might do? And these people weren't average citizens. Each one had enhanced abilities. They were strong, fast, and nearly impossible to restrain. According to Global Daily, the number of confirmed serum recipients had already surpassed 3.85 million. And that was just the recorded cases. The real number could easily be over 5 million. In response, the American Academy of Biological Sciences announced the formation of a World Medical Alliance. Their goal? To bring together the greatest minds in global medicine, to develop a cure or antidote for the serum's biochemical side effects. This was no longer just a national issue. It was a crisis affecting all of humanity. They called on all countries to set aside their differences, unite for the good of the people, and protect our shared world. Surprisingly, the world listened. Even if you didn't trust them, the truth was undeniable. The US still had the most advanced medical technology on the planet. If they took the lead, the rest would follow. At least on the surface. The global leaders hadn't abandoned the serum recipients just yet. There was still hope. With top experts from every country working together, maybe, just maybe, they could find a solution. For now, every nation promised to spare no expense in the search for a cure. Meanwhile, in Magic City, at the luxurious Thompson Riviera, former movie queen Jiang Miniying stared at the vial in her hand. The super soldier serum. Then she looked up at the international news flashing across her TV. She had no idea whether to cry or laugh. Oh, come on, heaven. Are you seriously messing with me again? Haven't I suffered enough? Ever since breaking up with her ex-boyfriend, Jiang Miniying's life had been in free fall. Her once thriving career was in shambles, while her ex, Bai Wendong, was climbing higher than ever. She had just barely started regaining some popularity after joining a reality show called The Real Actor. Soon after, she was cast in a low-budget teen drama. It wasn't a big production, but it had been a long time since anyone even offered her a movie. She took it without hesitation, but things quickly went downhill. The director kept making things difficult for her, clearly trying to pressure her into sleeping with him. Seriously? She was a former award-winning actress, and he was a no-name third-rate director. Who did he think he was? Their relationship quickly turned hostile. Still, they pushed through the shoot and finished the film per contract. The movie released with zero promotion. No ads, no interviews, no press. It bombed at the box office. To make matters worse, the editor had chosen her most awkward scenes and left them all in the final cut. The internet exploded with criticism. The once great Jiang Miniying? She's a joke now. Her acting was called so bad it burned our eyes. The film's rating? A dismal 31 out of 100. Netizens vowed never to watch her movies again. Just like that, her reputation was destroyed. Her love life was wrecked. Her career, ruined. Even her talent agency had terminated her contract. For several months, she didn't get a single offer. This was her reality now. Once a queen of the screen, now completely forgotten. She hit rock bottom. But after a long stretch of despair, she made a decision. She would come back. She would rise again and slap Bai Wendong in the face with her success. So she made a bold move. She mortgaged her luxury condo at Thompson Riviera, spent $5 million and got her hands on one dose of the super soldier serum. She'd heard the rumors that it didn't just boost strength and speed. It could repair genetic flaws, make you younger, even enhance your beauty. She pulled every string she could, made countless connections, and finally managed to buy the serum. But before she could even celebrate, boom, breaking news. The serum had massive side effects. Many recipients wouldn't survive even a year. The moment she saw that report, her entire mindset collapsed. What now? To inject or not to inject? If she did it, maybe she could turn her life around. But there were no guarantees. If she didn't, she'd just wasted $5 million. And she'd already mortgaged her only home. Worst of all, there were no refunds. She had spent most of her savings on by Wendong in the past, helping him network and build his career. Now, she was nearly broke. It was a nightmare. Was this luck or misfortune? On one hand, she'd found out the truth in time. Maybe she'd just saved her life. But on the other hand, she'd lost $5 million and gained nothing. Talk about cursed. Just then, ding ding ding. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen. Director Yang Sison was calling. Her heart nearly stopped. Director Yang was one of the most powerful figures in the film industry. Even the most legendary actors had to show him respect. Backed by Chairman Yan and supported by Qian Films, Superstar Group, and Feituan Capital, he controlled nearly half the industry's resources. Every actor dreamed of working with him. She picked up instantly. Hello? Director Yang? What a surprise. Jiang Minying, no need for formalities, he said kindly. I'll get straight to the point. I'm preparing a new film, massive production, around 5 billion yuan in funding. I'd like to offer you the lead female role. Do you have time? Jiang Minying was stunned. 5 billion. And he wanted her as the lead? Was this some kind of dream? She quickly steadied herself. Director Yang, I'm not new to this industry. Let's be honest, what's the catch? She couldn't believe it was really happening. Chapter 1047, Qin Wushuang's 101 points. There was no way Director Yan would cast Jiang Minying as the female lead of a 5 billion yuan blockbuster for no reason. Big investors don't hand out favors for free. Naturally, there were conditions. In the past, she might have rejected such a deal without hesitation. But now, she had already mortgaged her house. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. How could she possibly pass it up? And it wasn't just anyone. It was Director Yan. Talented, rich, and devastatingly handsome. To be honest, she wasn't even resisting the idea. In fact, she was kind of excited. Maybe I should thank Chen Yuan. It was him who gave me hope at my lowest point. Really, I'm grateful to him. Jiang Minying, affection plus 50. Current affection, 50. After that call, Jiang Minying packed her bags and rushed to Yanjing. When she found out that Director Yan himself would be playing the male lead, she was even more thrilled. This wasn't just any actor. He was a legit 100 billion level movie king. With his acting talent and the massive production backing the film, this movie might just make box office history. Half a month later, Longting Villa, 8 a.m. Chen Yuan had just woken up. He hadn't even brushed his teeth yet, when suddenly, someone banged on his door. It was Qin Wushuang. Chen Yuan, hurry. Something's wrong with De Huang. I tried feeding him steak this morning, but he wouldn't even take a bite. And overnight, he's lost so much weight. His fur's falling out like crazy. Her eyes shimmered with panic, nearly in tears. Over the past few weeks, she had grown very close to De Huang. He wasn't like other dogs. He was far more intelligent. He even understood human speech. And he obeyed her like a loyal soldier. After spending so much time together, how could she not get attached? He wasn't just a dog anymore. He was hers. I'll go check. Still in pajamas and slippers, Chen Yuan went straight to the kennel downstairs. What he saw made his heart sink. De Huang was collapsed on the ground. Most of his fur had fallen out. Sticky saliva dripped from his mouth. His skin was wrinkled. His frame gaunt and lifeless. He was barely breathing. Just skin and bones. And this happened in just one night. Just yesterday morning, he'd been full of energy. Now he was hanging on by a thread. Chen Yuan knelt beside him and gently placed a hand on his head. Pet, Chinese rural dog. Species, canine. Current combat power, 0. Constitution, 1. Status, near death, less than 10 minutes to live. Loyalty, 80. Chen Yuan was surprised. De Huang's loyalty score was even higher than his little tiger's. Clearly, after all this time together, De Huang already saw him as his true master. System, apply 5 enhancement points to De Huang. Ding. Enhancing. Enhancement complete. Right before their eyes, De Huang's frail body began to transform. His frame filled out. Muscles returned. His fur thickened. In just a few seconds, he went from dying to leaping up like nothing had ever happened. Chen Yuan quickly checked his stats again. Pet, Chinese rural dog. Species, canine. Combat power, 560. Constitution, 100. Status, bluffing strength, less than 3 days to live. Loyalty, 85. Remaining enhancement points, 190. Chen Yuan frowned. While the enhancements had improved De Huang's physical strength, his life force hadn't recovered. The core issue, the biochemical virus, was still inside him. It hadn't been destroyed. It was still silently devouring his life from within. Is De Huang cured? That's incredible. You just touched his head, and he suddenly recovered? Wait, I get it. Qin Wushuang gasped. You passed your cultivation into him, didn't you? Chen Yuan was silent for a moment, then nodded. You're right. I transferred 5 years' worth of my cultivation to keep him alive. But it's just a temporary fix. He'll only survive another 3 days. The virus has already fused with his genes. It's no longer something I can cure. His cells have been reprogrammed. They divide faster than normal, too fast. Unless he can evolve on his own and absorb enough cosmic energy to constantly regenerate, the virus will always stay one step ahead. But if he can reach that balance, he might survive. He might even evolve. That's just theory, though. I need to run tests, draw blood, monitor his vitals, analyze his genes. With that, Chen Yuan pulled out a syringe and stuck it into Huang. Whoa! The dog let out a loud yelp. Blood sample in hand, Chen Yuan headed into his underground lab. Qin Wushuang stood frozen, stunned by everything she'd just heard. She didn't understand the science, but she understood this. Chen Yuan had used 5 years of his precious cultivation energy just to save a dog. A cultivator's 5 years wasn't something you could replace. It was priceless. And yet, Chen Yuan did it without hesitation. Even though it was just a dog, he couldn't stand to see it suffer. This man, he had such a kind and gentle heart. He radiated a warmth she couldn't explain, like something divine. Chen Yuan, she asked quietly, if one day I was dying, would you give your cultivation to save me too? He looked back at her, calm and sincere. What kind of question is that? If you were dying, I wouldn't give 5 years. I'd give 50, 100, whatever it takes. You silly girl. Why are you comparing yourself to a dog? Woof, woof. De Huang barked twice, clearly unhappy with that comparison. Qin Wushuang blinked, then laughed, tears shimmering in her eyes. She was moved beyond words. Chen Yuan would give up everything for her. She believed it, because he was that kind of man, someone who always followed through. Her eyes softened, heart swelling. Chen Yuan Gidge, she whispered, if you're ever in danger, I'll give my life to protect you. I mean it. Qin Wushuang, affection +1. Current affection, 101. That's it for today's chapter recap. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest manga, manhwa, and manhwa recaps. Got thoughts on today's chapter? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on the story. See you in the next one. Until then, keep turning the pages.